what are they on? Gen what?
I think the youngest one, like the little kids nowadays, are Gen Alphas.
Gen Alpha?
That's I heard that term just recently. I don't know where I heard it from.
What about?
I think I heard it on Timcast.
Okay, so they're after. I mean, Gen Z.
We're Generation X. Wait.
That's the millennials.
Millennials. Okay. We're. Shoot. Our parents are boomers, right?
Right.
No, or our grandparents are boomers.
I don't know. I think
it's after the war. After the war.
Right. I think our parents fall into that particular bracket.
Our parents are boomers.
And then it's Gen X.
Gen X
was like 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
And then it was millennials.
Okay.
Which, by the way.
Well, I mean, they're all going to have problems because you don't know what's coming after the millennials. Millennials might be better than the next one's coming up, so you never know. But I don't know if that's a feeling that all generations have when they look back and they're like, oh, these kids these days. You know what I mean? That's like an old people thing to say. Because eventually one day the millennials are going to be old like us, and they're going to be like, oh, these kids these days, these Gen Alphas. You know, I don't know what to do about them. They have
okay. Well, then actually they'll be talking about the Gen, I guess, I don't know, betas or whatever.
Right.
I mean, so what? Yeah. I mean, that's one thing to think about. I mean, everyone. And that's a good point too. Why is it that the older you get, it feels like the more you want to complain about younger people?
It's just that they grow up in different situations than we do. I mean, we didn't grow up staring at phones all day long. We grew up running around outside, and we were provided with all the things that we had. And then you have to think about the generation prior to us, the lives that they lived. They lived through some completely different kinds of situations than we did, where television wasn't around. They didn't grow up watching television. They had like radios and stuff like that. So every generation is growing up with some kind of different new technology, and it's definitely, I think those kind of things created wider gaps between the generations coming up, because the newer technology just takes off and widens that gap even more and more and more.
Yeah, I mean, let's just take smartphones for example.
Right.
I was actually one of the first people that I knew to actually have a cell phone back in the day, and obviously it was a brick phone at that point in time.
Right.
But when these smartphones came out, I just couldn't wrap my head around how to use this thing. Yeah, I mean, does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense in the fact that even the
I didn't understand like apps, and I just didn't understand it.
Well, nobody did. No, I mean, but the longer they go, they make these things easier and easier to use. Now that they have little tiny kids know how to use a phone because they made it so easy an idiot could understand it.
I know
it's like a Geico commercial with the caveman. Even a caveman can do it.
That's a fair assessment, analogy, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but I mean, okay. Now, how do you think technology, actually plays a part in?
It certainly plays a gigantic part
in just us. Well, listen to me craft this question.
Okay.
How would you feel that technology and the way it is rapidly evolving plays a part into us just feeling older than maybe we actually potentially are?
I mean,
kind of like just like I almost feel antiquated at this point in time.
Well, I mean,
I'm fucking 40.
I remember when I was growing up, my parents got me the Nintendo, the first Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
I took to it like it was nobody's business. I could play Mario like like the best of them. Like I never missed a jump. I never fell and died. I mean, after a couple times, but I'd hand the controller to my mom or my dad, and they'd go about 2 inches and get killed. You know what I mean?
Just run right off the edge down to the pit.
Right. I mean, the younger people learn faster. So you hand them something, they will understand it faster than if you handed it to a person of our age, and we'd be like fumbling around with it before we'd actually try to figure out how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So I don't know if that answered your question.
Not really.
Ask the question again.
Do you, with technology and the rapid rate that is coming out right now, does that make you feel more or less antiquated? More or less useful? How much more effort do you have to put in to keep up with current technology?
I don't try. I don't try to keep up with technology. If I find some kind of technology that makes my life easier.
Well, all technology is supposed to make your life easier.
That's true. I'll be honest. I do not put forth the effort to understand new technology. I guess that's the best way that I can put it. I personally do not put forth, like I see something new come out, I'll be like, well, if it's any good, it'll make its way my way eventually.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I'm kind of the same way. At this point in time.
Right.
Now, granted, 5 years ago, I might have tried to stay on, a little bit of the edge of it.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, if it's good, it's more like let them figure it out, and then I'll figure it out when I need to.
Make it easy for me, like an app on a cell phone, and then I'll try it out.
Yeah, basically.
As long as I feel like it's going to be beneficial to myself.
Basically.